we are moving on to our session 3. In session 1, we have covered the, we have spoken to our client and we have confirmed the treatment plan. And according to the client, we have checked the client's skin condition. Well, we have asked questions to determine the skin conditions, and we have also asked about their skin history, if they've had any problems in the past. We've also asked them some lifestyle information, meaning they might have a lifestyle that might affect their skin condition. For example, they could be office workers like yourself, and they might have dehydrated skin due to being in the air conditioning. So we've got to address those things. So lifestyle does affect your skin condition in one way or the other, or a client could be working outdoors a lot, and they might have a lot of sun damage on their skin, including pigmentation and things like that. So, and also we have determined our client's needs, whether the client's needs for today is just coming for relaxation, or they might have some issues with their skin and they want you to address that. They might have acne problems, they might have dehydrated skin, they might have pigmentation that they might want you to look into and do a treatment for those things. So we have determined that. Now generally you should be able to decide what products you're going to use, because there's a lot of range out there for products. You know, you have your products for oily skin, you have products for your normal skin, you have products for people with sensitive skin type. So by this time you should have good idea of what skincare products you're going to select for your client. We will be doing further examination of their skin with our magnifying gland. That is obviously getting a bit closer onto their skin to have a look if they've got any problems such as blackheads, whiteheads. You know, some pigmentation might be visible with your naked eyes, but some pigmentation you will have to use magnifying gland to look at. So that way you know which area to treat. Depending on what mask you're going to put on what area, you might have to put a different mask on pigmented area, and you might have pigmentation, you might have dehydration, so you might have to put a hydrating mask on the dehydrated areas and pigmentation mask on the pigmented area. So for that reason, the magnifying gland is very important. And also, in step 2, in session 2, we have discussed about having prepared our service area. So with our service area, obviously we have to make sure that we have prepared the service area according to workplace health and safety requirements. Mainly electrical equipment, making sure that they're all checked, tested, tagged, that there's no electrocution happening to a client or yourself while you're performing a massage or a facial. Also, with your health and hygiene, you have make sure that your presentation is clean. You have clean hands, because you can introduce bacteria onto client's skin, especially if they have open skin, or if you have performed extractions, you can pass on any bacterial infection onto them. So for that reason, you have to make sure that you are also following the health regulations according to your local legislations, and also making sure that we have a bed here that's set up just to show you what the bed is going to look like with clean towels. So you make sure that your towels are changed in between clients, so there is no cross-contamination. And once you have used towels for one client, they go straight into the wash and get washed and dried appropriately before you use for the next client. For today's demonstration, we are not going to use the bed because the main steps I want to demonstrate while I'm standing up. That way you get a good idea of the movements that you will do to perform a facial cleanse. Now, with the safety, obviously you have to make sure that there's no loose coats flying around, so just in case the client comes around and trips and falls, so we don't want that. And also PPE, your personal protection equipment, gear, that you have your gloves handy if you need to perform an extraction. You have to make sure that, you know, all your products that you're going to need, your tissues and things like that, they're all here. And also the products, your water, your cotton pads, and also headbands. We're going to use this chair today for our demonstration. So obviously make sure that the table and the chair you're going to use is at the correct height, so it's not straining your back. The main idea is for you to be comfortable yourself. That way you're not straining your own back, because you could be working there for an hour or 90 minutes and you don't want to end up with a sore back, because when you're working for a salon you might be standing on your feet all day, and if you don't have a correct posture then you can cause damage to your own back. So it is very important that you look after your own back as well. I'm just going to check the time. I think we're halfway through. So here I have got a selection of things that I'm going to need today. I have got the cleanser that I'm going to use for my client. I have an eye makeup remover that I'm going to use for my client, and also a toner. So toner is obviously something you will use after cleansing. As you would have learned in your product information, toner is there once you cleanse your skin. Cleansing action opens up the pores and brings out the impurity, whereas the toner helps with the pores, bringing them back to the natural size. Now, with our next step, we're going to ask our lovely model Claire to come forward and have a seat so I can demonstrate how to perform a cleanse on the client. Now, this cleanse is going to be normally done while the client is lying down, but today we're going to do this sitting up. That way you get to see the steps very well. And with the client, you have to make sure that the table is at the right height so they can get up on the chair, on the table. Make sure they have a stool, if they, for them to be able to help them get up on the table. The lighting has to be at a comfortable brightness. You don't want the lighting to be too bright, otherwise it can get very irritating for clients' eyes while they're trying to relax. And also the room temperature is very important, that you don't want the room to be too cold, too hot. The idea is to make your client feel very comfortable, and also make sure you keep contact with client's skin all the time, so that way they feel secure and they ask questions, make sure they're okay, so that way they feel safe in your hands. And also draping the client, making sure that you give your client their dignity. So when they're on the table, make sure they're covered well with a towel, and ensuring that they're comfortable all the time. So with that, I will demonstrate our facial cleanse, starting with eye makeup. Now, the idea of cleansing the skin is obviously to remove, before we start the skin analysis, to remove the dirt, and also if there's any dirt, any what do you call that, sweat, And also if they've been out and about, they might have, like pollution from outside, things like that, even makeup, if they're obviously wearing makeup. So the idea is you have to remove all that before you can perform your skin analysis. So presuming that our client here has eye makeup on, I will show you how to perform eye makeup removal. Now, I have the eye makeup remover on both pads, cotton pads. You will place them gently on the eyes, and you can leave them there or you can hold them down. This is actually helping the eye makeup to dissolve, and then you will remove that, fold them over. Under the eye, we're going inwards, that way. The reason we're going inwards is because the eye area is a very delicate area, so you're not dragging the skin out and making the client feel very uncomfortable. If you are moving away, you're making sure that you're holding and supporting client's head and moving it forward away from yourself, just in case they're resting on your body. So that way you don't move back and client head falls back and they get very annoyed. Okay, so round one. Next we are going to perform the cleanse. So I'm taking some cleansing lotion in my hands. Now, when you start to apply a product, always make contact first with the temples, so that way the client knows that they're going to get a product applied to their face. If you don't do that and you go straight on their face, you can startle the client, especially if they're lying down, when they're lying down, and they've got their eyes closed, so you don't want to go in there and go in and attack their skin with cold product, because they're not going to enjoy that feeling. So making sure that you make contact, and then you start at the chin, and you make a sweeping action, big circles on the chin, down the nose, up around the eyes. And at this point, I can feel that my cleanser is not enough, so I will add some more. You can add some water to it, so that way you have more product to work with. The water actually helps. It works the cleanser on the skin. So performing cleanser with this, performing cleansing step with these movements. So starting again with the chin, big circles around the nose, around the eyes, coming up to the forehead, making circles. And that's where you stop. And then normally you would repeat this twice. So when you're removing the cleanser, making sure that you support the upper lip area, so you're not dragging the skin out. And finishing off at the temples. So we're just going to make sure that we have removed the cleanser well. Is that model all right? Falling asleep? It's a relaxing bit, isn't it? At this point, your client is really enjoying the facial, because you are, the moment you're doing, they're very gentle, soft, and in very slow motion, because the idea is for the client. If you go too fast, it's going to make your client very nervous, and they're going to get heart palpitation because they're going to think that they're being rushed. So the idea is for you to perform this with a very slow, gentle, rhythmic motion. The idea is right from the beginning of the facial to the end, you keep the same steady flow. By the time you finish, our clients are putty in your hands. So now we have performed the facial cleanse. Always finish off the facial cleansing after with the restoring, the toner. So we're just going to get the toner and almost spread it on. Now, some toners are in spray form, some toners are in cream form, some toners you need cotton pads to apply. This particular one that I'm using is in cream form, and you don't have to rub it in, but it does get annoying when it's left on skin because the client's going to feel like their skin is really wet. So in that case, what you can do is fold your tissue this way, turn it around, go that way, turn it around to the forehead, and then is the nose area. So now we have put our toner, and now the next step we're going to perform is the skin analysis. So in normal circumstances, you are going to do this cleanse twice. Once just to remove all the makeup and everything, and the second time to make sure that you have got all the, all the makeup and everything off. So always good idea to do two cleanses. And once you have prepared your skin, that's when we're going to go in with our magnifying lamp and have a look at the client's skin. And by that time, you would have chosen your products. But if you feel like there is a need for an additional product, for example, like I said before, you might want to add on another mask for a different problem area. They might have an area where there's a lot of blackheads, or there might be whiteheads, or there might be pustules, and you might want to treat them with a clay purifying detoxing mask. Then you might want to add, at that particular time, you can excuse yourself and get some more products to add to your prior treatment, so that way you're all ready to go to perform the facial massage. So you don't have to leave the client halfway through while you're doing the facial treatment. So I think with that, that is the demonstration of how to perform a facial cleansing. So thank you for your attention, and we will continue session 5 in our next few minutes. So in meantime, if anyone wants to stretch their legs or need to have a break, they can do that. Thank you, cameraman, and thank you all for being here. And thanks, Inspire team. You rock. Okay, bye.
Good.
Yeah.